I made a short not too long ago for creative people getting wrapped up in making things for other people that they never have the time to make things for themselves. Well, in this video, I'm making myself a business card wallet. I'm sick and tired of having my business cards in my pocket, so that's what we'll do. I went ahead and I got some 4-ounce leather for this project, and contrary to what I normally do, I scratched in the pattern. Always remember to strop your blade before cutting. Even if you grab a brand new blade from the box, I still would strop it. It would make cutting so much easier. I just so happen to have the right punch for this, and I go in and clean it up with the blade. This is my biggest hole punch. It's not even close. But I do happen to have some shape dies, and the biggest one just so happens to line up perfectly with what I need. Cutting through this thickness of leather is a breeze with this clicker. You could accomplish the same thing I've done here with 2 very large round punches and then just cut the line between the two, making a pretty clean result for what tools you have on hand. Now that everything's cut out, we can mark our holes for stitching. So let's do that. You could take your pricking iron and measure with that. So you could just hang it over the side, and that's your measurement, and then just start from there on both sides. So you might be able to tell that if I was to continue all these stitching lines, especially in this area, there would be holes here where when I fold it, it wouldn't make sense and there wouldn't be stitching there. So an easy way to avoid that, and it wouldn't really matter, but for looks, it's gonna look better, is if we just put our pattern down, slide it down a bit, and just avoid this area. Now that all the punching's done, we're gonna bevel all the edges. Try to get one continuous cut. It's harder than it looks at first. Now remember, we don't want to bevel edges that are going to be stitched together. So we won't touch the insides here or the insides there because they're being stitched together. Great, now that everything's beveled and rounded, I can go ahead and wet it, dye it, and wait for it to dry for when I put in my big logo. Put in the logo because it needs to be somewhat dry but somewhat wet. You need to case the leather. Once that's done, we can put a top coat on it, slick the edges down, and we got ourselves a wallet. I got some light brown finally, so I don't have to keep messing with my dark brown and making things way darker than I really want them to be, which happens all the time. So a lot of the times I don't slick this side down with Tokonole, but for business cards, it seems to work better. You don't really want them to be held on too tightly, and slicking this down will make that just so. It's so much fun as this channel grows and I get these specialty tools to mess with. I did not need to use a specialty tool to spread the Tokonole, but hey, if you have it on hand, why not use it? Logo reveal. Talking about specialty tools, yes, I'm still burnishing by hand. One of my leatherworking mentors said to buy Resolene by the gallons because you'll use it in most every project, and I'm finding that to be certainly true. A lot of the times you'll see me use a V-gouge when things need to fold, but this time I really didn't think it was necessary, so I just wetted it down. So now I have a decision to make. Do I want the stitching to be shown off or subtle? I think on this project I want it to be shown off, so I'm going to use something lighter. I still haven't used this thread enough to get past that little spot where I spilled the green dye when I was working on my workshop. I'll get there eventually. Oh, and by the way, this is traditionally how it's done. You put one needle in, grab the needle with the needle, and pull. So sometimes you would cross over like that. Sometimes you wouldn't. This is an instance where you would want to, especially since cards are going to be put in and out, in and out. So now practically everything is done except for slicking these edges. So let's do that and that'll be it. I feel like this is very controversial. Do you sand one way or do you sand both ways? I've done both. How many times this thing has made an appearance, I still can't say needle nozzle bottle very easily. And here's the finished result. I'm quite happy with the results. The only thing that I could pick on, if I had to pick something to pick on, would be that I haven't fixed my thread zapper yet. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one real soon.